Yeah, but Sukkot lasts 7 days. So my
Yes.
question is, did they go back?
We're discussing how long it takes to travel in Israel back home. So one in the Mishnah, it says it takes 7 days, and therefore you need 7 days after the last to announce a lost object. You have to give him time 3 days to go back to his home, 3 days to come back to Israel, come back to Jerusalem. But it seems that you're supposed to pray for rain on the 7th of Cheshvan, which is you have to give him 15 days. You have to give people 15 days to travel all the way back home to the Euphrates River. You have to give him...
Oh, you're talking about Babylon.
What?
Euphrates River?
From Jerusalem all the way to Babylon.
So they're all the way to Babylon.
Meaning they would
within the limits, confines of Israel.
So even in the Second Temple, people would live a little far out. Oh, so we're going to talk about that. This is the first of the Second Temple. Because we're nice. We don't want to pray for rain while
people are traveling.
While people are traveling. Right. Because if it starts raining, it's not a good thing.
Right.
All right? That's what happened to, I don't know, Gil, Gil, remember, it's like he called me, and he said, hey, my flight was rerouted because of the rain. So people are flying back, you don't want to pray for rain.
That's so unusual. That's planes get rerouted plane. God had a reason for that to happen to him. I don't know what.
So the rabbis...
I thought we were done with this topic.
No.
We're done with the signs topic. Now we're going to come at it from another angle.
Is going to be with us until we...
For a couple more months.
2 months. 2 months we're aiming for. Just to...
Don't go farther.
So, you'll be an expert after that.
Yeah. So basically, Rabbi Yehuda said you give him 3, you have to announce it on the 3 festivals. And after the 3rd festival, you give him 7 days. You give him 7 days. Because he needs 3 days to travel back home, 3 days to check his things, 3 days to then travel back to Jerusalem, and 1 day to announce his signs. But here we see, Rabbi Gamliel is saying, it takes 15 days for them to travel, because he says you cannot pray for rain until 15 days after Sukkot, because you got to give people time to get back home. So it's a contradiction. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it takes 3 days. According to Rabbi Gamliel, it's taken 15 days. This is the first temple, and this is the second temple. Mikdash Rishon, in the first temple, Dinefishi Yisrael Tuva, that there were so many Jews in Israel. Dichsiv Behu, Yehuda v'Yisrael Rabim Kechol Asher Alayam. Larov, that the verse says Judah and Israel were so numerous, they were like the sand on the sea. Be'inan Kulehai, we need all this time to be able to travel back to their homes. So therefore, that's what Rabbi Gamliel was talking about.
3 days in the first temple. 7 days in the second temple.
No, the first temple you needed more time
because there were more people.
More people.
The highways were packed.
My highways were packed. Yes. Gotcha. Apparently, that was now. The Gemara is going to say really the logic should be the reverse, but
that's right.
For now we're assuming that highways were packed,
2 lanes.
And it would take too long.
And it would take
yes.
Well, I mean, they weren't flying.
Right.
But so it might take them 15 days to get back home. That's what they're squeezed, and that's according to the assumption right now. But Mikdash Sheni Delona Fish Yisrael Tuva. But in the second temple, that there were not a lot of Jews. Tichsibu Kol Kol Ke'echad Arba Ribo Alpayim. There were Shlosh Me'os 40 Fishishim. There were 42,360 people who came back for the second temple, right. Which was people go, how could this happen? Well, a lot of Jews had comfortable lives outside it, and they said we don't want to go and build a community, build Israel again, and they were punished for it. But so therefore they didn't need that much. There was a lot more room, so they could just took them 3 days to travel back home. Amar le Abaye. Abaye says, wait a minute. It says that even though there wasn't as many Jews in the second temple period, they still went and lived in their original cities. So it wasn't like they were all packed in Jerusalem, surrounding Jerusalem and the surrounding cities. One guy said, I'm going to go to Tzfat. One guy said, I'm going to go to Eilat. One guy said, I'm going to go to Tel Aviv. And this said there was a little community here.
Tel Aviv were part of the
Jaffa.
picture back then.
Jaffa, man.
Jaffa, right?
Miami.
You know, there was
Maybe.
right, exactly. It was a little here, a little there, a little there. It wasn't. They were all settling in their original cities, so it really should take them just as much time to get back to their home because they had the long ways to travel, even if apparently highways weren't a consideration. And since this was the case, that they were living in their original cities, since there's so many Jews, and therefore there's more demand for wagons that go day and night, this was the transportation system. Yeah, they had it. They'd say, listen, if there was enough demand, there would be a subway from Mountain Brook to downtown Birmingham. There would be a subway, but there isn't a demand. If there were so many people, there would be a demand. So it's the same thing here. If there were so many people, when there were so many people, there was a demand. And people on wagon businesses, Uber, they had Uber back then. Was going every morning, afternoon, and night. So it was very quick. And then maybe it took them only 3 days. But with this, it was a quiet little. It was more sleepy. It was more quieter, and therefore they didn't have as many wagons, so they had to go by foot. So therefore, it might have taken them a long, long time. So really, it's the second temple that should be taking a longer time. V'saga v'talsa yomi mikda and mikda sheni lo nefisha saltuva lo mitzava samav lo mishtach shiarta does the ben v'melela be'inin kulaya. You need a lot. So Abaye just switched it around. He basically said that when Rabbi Gamliel says you don't pray for rain until 15 days. You don't pray until 15 days after Sukkot. He's talking about the second temple era when there wasn't as many wagons because it was much less people. But when Rabbi Yehuda said 3 days, he was referring to the first temple when there was lots of people and lots of wagons going. Now Rava is going to turn this on this head. Now Rava Amar, everyone have it? Rava Amar.
Where are we?
Rava Amar on the bottom, about 7 lines up. Rava Amar.
Hello?
Rava Amar. Rava Amar says no.
Lo sheni.
Lo shna b'mikdash rishon v'lo shna b'mikdash sheni. There was no difference between the first and the second temple. It was always 3 days there, 3 days. It was always 7 days. Meaning the law for lost objects was 3 days. You give him 7 days to come back and claim his object. But it takes 15 days to travel there and back. Says no. Says we're not going by that. That Mishnah Rabbi Gamliel was talking about whether you pray for rain. It wasn't talking about lost objects.
Right.
And you'll say, but it'll take him a long time. He says at the end of the day, lo hitrichu rabbanan ba'aveda yosmidai. The rabbis did not bother you with announcing a lost object more than that. Meaning you'd have to stay a month, according to Rabbi Gamliel. Meaning, and there's always a thing like, but there's this person who you have to calculate, and he lives really, really far away. So the rabbis just set a rule, a week,
That's it.
and that was it.
You get what you get.
You get what you get. So clearly, this, it's an interesting question. So does that mean this notion is rabbinic? Is there a deoraita? How much you have to do? It's a question. Is this on the level of a rabbinic law? It seems that the rabbis could be giving form to the law and saying okay, you have to announce the object. How much is how much? Meaning, and it's going to be, and we're going to see as we move a little further in the Gemara, it'll be different for each time period. Obviously, what do we do now? We don't have regel. We don't have old people who are going to, and if I would take a lost object I found in Overton and then say, okay, I'm going to go to Jerusalem to announce it, I doubt I'm going to.
You're not going to find it.
I'm not going to find it there. So the rabbis, it seems had the authority from the Torah to, define what it meant. So let's move on. Amar Ravina. Ravina said, Shmamina ki machriz glima machriz. That when you announce a lost object, what do you announce? Do you announce, hey, I found the lost article, and you let someone say what the lost article was, or do you announce, I found a shirt? Or meaning when you find a lost article, what do you announce? Do you announce? Let's say you found a wallet. Do you say, "Oh, I found someone lost something in the shul," or do you announce, "I found a wallet"? Now you have to announce it. Now the guy has to come and give a sign on the wallet. So he says it must be you announce the type of object you found. Why? Because if you enters your mind that you announce a lost article, says Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda only gives him 3 days to travel back, 3 days to 6 days of traveling, and 1 day to claim his object. But why don't you give him 1 day at home? He would have to look through his things, see if he's missing anything, look through his shirts, look through his wallets, look through everything, and then he would have to. And then he would, and only then can he see. But so it must be he must have announced, "I found a shirt," and then it would not have taken him long to find that he's missing a shirt, and therefore Rabbi Yehuda didn't give him any time at home. All right, so it makes sense, right? Everyone understand the logic? Mm-hmm. It makes sense that Shema Mina Rava Amar says no. Afila tema veda tamachris. Says really, you could say that a guy can just announce, "I found something. I found a lost article." So why didn't Rabbi Yehuda give him another day at home to check his belongings? And Rava says the same answer. Lo hitrichu rabbanan ba'aveda yosemidai. The rabbis just said a week. Said a week, and you have your time. You rush home. You do what you need to do, and we're not going to make him stay and make him wonder like, oh, maybe he has to check his things. So really, you announce a lost article because that seems the better way to do it because you want him to identify it. You want him to identify what he lost. All right, so Tanu Rabbanan. Moving along further. Everybody still with me?
So, no. All right, so you found an article 6 months ago, just before Pesach, right? And then you keep announcing
or just after Sukkot, and then you announce it on Pesach, you announce it on Shavuot, and you announce it on Sukkot.
Okay, and so you announce it 3 times.
Yes.
You don't have to announce it constantly during that period of time.
Right.
So it's okay, and then you announce it 7 days or 7 days or whatever after the regular.
The last one. Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. So now,
Does the halacha follow that?
we're going to see.
Okay.
The Gemara is actually later on listed a few lines surprisingly explicit about what we do. So.
Okay.
Tanu Rabbanan, Regel Rishon Omer, meaning on the first festival you announce it, Omer Regel Rishon. You say, this is the first festival that I'm announcing this. Regel Sheni Omer, Regel Sheni. On the second festival you announce it, you say, this is the Regel Sheni. Regel Shlishi Omer Stam. You don't say that it's Regel Shlishi. Why? Martin, you're going to like this Martin. Why on the third festival you're announcing it, do you say that you don't say anything? You just say, I found an Aveda, but you don't announce which one it is. Presumably we're saying so people can know like how much time they have. But you don't want to say Regel Shlishi. Why not? Because when people listen to announcements, they you say it's at 8 o'clock. It's at 8 o'clock, everybody. 8 o'clock tomorrow, Minyan. 8 o'clock. What time was Minyan tomorrow? 8:30, 7:30. Like people, when people hear announcements, you don't know what's going on in their head. They're always like. Whatever. It doesn't. So we're afraid that if you say Regel Shlishi, people are going to say, "What was it? Did you say Regel Shlishi or Sheni?" If it's Sheni, I have more time. Yay! I have more time. This is great.
So why say it at all? Why say it either the first or second time?
Oh my God! So the Gemara says.
I'm sorry.
The Gemara. No. That's good. Martin, the Hela Gemara. Martin Klinger says. Rabbi Martin. Martin Klinger of the Babylonic period.
Rabbeinu Klinger.
Sheni Nami Aselach Lupe Barishon says. Wait a minute. But if you announce Regel Sheni, people are going to say, what was that, the first one? And they're going to assume that they have more time.
What a life, people.
Haka'asi Regel Shlishi. The answer is it's okay, even if they still have one more, no matter what. They still have one more Yom Tov and Regel to claim it. So I just want to say, so what we've done so far, we've learned about Uber in the Gemara.
Yes.
We've learned about the transportation system of the Gemara, and we've learned about the fallacy and of presidential announcements, of announcements,
Thank you.
of announcing things, because people are just so confused, they're always going to mess it up.
I'll hand off next.
Yeah, so
Before
yes.
Twitter.
Yes. So this is, life doesn't change. Life in the Gemara was was basically the same, just without, smartphones, that we have. It's all right. It's all the same. All right. Tana Rabbanan. Let's we keep going up to the Mishnah. And one second line of the second page. Barishona, it would happen at first. Kol mi shematza aveda hayamachar zelesh shel shogam. You would do this. You would announce it for each of the 3 festivals when people would gather in Jerusalem. V'achar regalachron shivas yamim. Then you'd wait 7 days. Kadei sheyelech shlosha v'yachzer shlosha v'yachris yom echad. Like Rabbi Yehuda says, so a guy could have 3 days to go back home, 3 days to come back to Jerusalem, and 1 day to claim his items. But mishacharav Beis Hamikdash, when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, maybe rebuilt speedily, right? And people were like, oh, how are we going to find our lost objects? Sheibanabim Herav Yameinu says in the Brisa. It says in the Brisa here. It says like it should be built speedily in our days. Hiskinu shehu machrizim bivata knisas zavata midrashos. They decreed. The rabbis decreed. It says announce it in the shuls because that's where everyone gathers. Everybody comes to shul, right? Everybody, all the Jews of the city always come to shul. So you announce it.
The shul is the equivalent of the Beis Hamikdash.
Exactly. So and that's where people are gathering. So therefore, you would just announce it there.
Put it in the bulletin.
You put it in the bulletin, exactly. Umisha rabu ha'anasim, and when the anasim, the enemies, increased, he says, just let your neighbors and people who you know, and that's enough. And what does that mean? What does it mean? Who was this that they said you shouldn't announce it in shul anymore? The Amri Aveda Malamalka, meaning they were people, Persians, who said, or tax collectors who said, hey, that lost article, if you lost something, that just automatically belongs to the state. To the state.
Probate.
Right. Yeah, so here we go. Now we have tyranny in lost objects, everybody. Yeah. You never thought you'd learn about tyranny and fascism and about lost and attracted about lost objects. Yeah. God, I just want to keep learning this for the next year.
Who said that?
This is the Brisa, just a Brisa, a Tana. So, Rabbi Ami Ashkach Udia de Dinri. Rabbi Ami once, in fact, found a vessel full of money. Chazi dahu barnash, the Kamirsis, and one guy gave a sign, but he was afraid to take it. Amarle says, Zel shkula nafshach delaf parsai. Anandam Ravedet Talmud says, I'm not a Persian. Don't worry, I'm not going to report you to the king for taking a lost object. That was the law. All lost objects belong to the state. And the guy says, I don't want to take it. Maybe you're going to report me, even though it's mine. And he says, nope. Don't worry, I'm not a Persian. Oh, wow, guys. Oof, this is heavy stuff here. People, for lost objects, people are being jailed for lost objects. Wow. Sounds like this is Iran, I don't know how many people are Persian. Hands being chopped off. You lost the object, you're supposed to give it to the state, and you gave it back to the owner. So guys, this is really important stuff here. This is Judaism for freedom against fascism and tyranny to return lost objects. That's it. Wow, so many interesting things today.
You should really write a blog about this.
Totally. I'm going to write a post about this. This is fantastic.
Josephus?
Tana Rabbanan, Evan Towing B'Shalayim. There was a big stone called the Stone of Towing, in the Stone of Claimers in Jerusalem. Kol Mishav Delo Aveda, anybody who lost something, Nifna L'Sham, went there. The Kol Mishamotze Aveda, Nifna L'Sham. And every person who found an Aveda went there. Meaning if you found the lost article, you would go there and announce your articles, and if you lost something, you'd go there. That was the lost and found.
And that's Aveda is a lost article?
Aveda is a lost article. And you would go up and you would announce the article and say, I found this, and this person would go up and give Vinosin Siman, and would give signs, Vinotla, and he would take it. Vizui Shishani, this is what that we learn in a different place. Go see if when the rain started, if it's reached the Evan Toin, if it's reached the Stone of Claimers. So there was this stone in Jerusalem that this was their lost and found. That this public square where, so maybe we do need to start if anybody.
So is this?
We had that room in there, the cold closet.
So is this the final decision on?
Well, the final decision is that what you do is you announce it in a you let your neighbors know, but you announce it in a public place. Meaning, and for Jews, that's a synagogue. You should announce it in the synagogue unless you're living in a fascist government that says that'll take away that'll arrest you for trying to announce a lost object. So,
Wow.
all right. So there are three things we've learned about here. We've learned about Uber, the fallacy of presidential announcements, and fascist regimes.
Fascist. Wow.
Got it, man.
Man, and I thought we were learning about lost objects. Wow.
Far from it.
I'm still writing a post about this. This is amazing.
Me too.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Much more informative and interesting.
I suggest that
Anything.
after we clear up, we clean the table, that it's all full of like food and smudged stuff.
That'd be nice.
Where does it say that? I'm sorry, I don't see that. So it says here that when you talk about lost objects, you should clean it.
Clean the tables.
I always wonder where the lights, the little lights, the lighting stations. Where you turn them on and off.
The bulb's probably out.
Huh? No.
No? Oh, no, the hallway light does it, right? The hallway on?
No, I've used the hallway light,
Does anyone want to
and
finish this?
those two lights stay on.
We're ready.
What?
Did you turn them off today?
Does anyone want
Did I
to?
turn what off?
Sometimes the light,
Specifically?
the
No.
lights above the washing stations over there, in the men's side and the women's side.
Not intentionally.
They were on when I came in, and I want to save energy, just turn it off, but I can't find the switch.
Get back to me.
The,
Would you like to finish this?
you want to offer?
Sarah, it's very, very good. Excellent,
Robert, you want
excellent
some more?
food.
Thank you.
Maybe Robert wants some more?
You want to finish this?
I'm already finishing something here.
There's a lot here, so I don't want to take it home. Do you want to just take it home and eat it at home? You can have leftovers. You have okay.
I don't know for like the lights. I mean, which ones go to?
Okay.
They were on, now they're off, or they're off, now they're on?
I know.
They're on, now they're off.
Okay, I'm gonna
I don't know, what are you telling me? They were on, now they're off?
When I came into,
Hey Martin,
Kim and Shul, they were.
Sure, they were
can we
on.
write a grant
another off.
to have scientific lectures?
The only
Okay,
things I've turned off would be the chandeliers in the shul. That doesn't affect them.
Could write a grant, but it wouldn't be funded.
I didn't do anything
How's
else.
No, it's outside. You know,
You
the
could
washing
write,
station, as you enter
It's
the
been my
shul,
experience.
there's a little.
The time
there's a
taken
bulb.
between the time you
There's a
first
light
write it till the
top
time you
each.
actually get
Right.
it is, in my case, it's
Maybe
about
the both
4 years.
ran out.
So
Really? God.
the number of times I had to resubmit.
Oh wait a minute, I have to stop this right now.